everybody, it's Rachel. Welcome back to the COV-AID fundraising stream. We have raised today almost $350,000, and that, of course, today is going to AmeriCares and to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, who are focusing on childcare for frontline workers, for people who are out there doing their best to help bring an end to this crisis and to take care of us as it carries forth. But today we're having some fun. We're doing some positive and uplifting stuff, and of course, joining me for that, I would have no one else but Mr. Marcus DJ Wheat Graham. So how are you finding yourself today, Marcus?
I'm doing
it's
great,
so nice to
and
do this.
I'm excited for what we've got coming up next. So iRacing has been a staple on Twitch and amongst racing fans for a very, very long time. But as you can imagine, during these times of COVID, we haven't necessarily been able to get that racing, or people haven't been able to drive professionally, and they are turning to things like iRacing to fulfill those needs. So this next segment that we've got coming up is a finals matchup. It's a finals race because these folks have been racing professionally over the last month. They've been having qualifiers, and this will sort of take us into the finals. But it's so cool that people are still able to keep going with their passions, and in this case, really helping out a great cause and providing some entertainment here for COV-AID. So I'm excited. The folks behind iRacing are all fantastic. When you watch this, it's one of those amazing things, Rachel, because I feel like my mom could look at it and be like, is it real?
Oh yeah.
Is it not? Yeah. It's pretty damn great. And the reason that folks love it so much is because of they can kind of like practice on various tracks and whatnot in sort of
the fidelity is there.
Simulation. Yeah, exactly. Great word.
I mean, we talked to developers of several different racing games at events like E3 and PAX year round, and one of the things they always strive for, like the mark of honor for a racing game, is when IRL, like real life F1, NASCAR, competitive drivers play these games. And that's what we've got here today. These are drivers in real life. They're used to driving real cars, and they may have used iRacing for practice, but now they're using it for high-end competition.
Yep, it's incredible. And, we might not see their amazing rigs, but they all have these incredible, almost lifelike rigs as well. And it sounds like they are ready to go. Thanks so much for joining us here for COV-AID. Ladies and gentlemen, this is iRacing.
Good evening and welcome to the COV-AID iRacing Invitational. And we're here today on the virtual racing world. You're joined by myself, Mikey Taylor, based in Atlanta, Georgia, and my good buddy, professional racing driver, James Vance. How you doing today, James?
Hey, what's up, Michael? Just here in Dallas, Texas. Ready to see some good racing for a great cause. Really excited to be here today.
Awesome. Well, we've got some great action on the build tonight, so excited to get into that. Why don't you give us a little bit of an overview of this event and the COV-AID iRacing Invitational?
Yeah, so tonight we are at Watkins Glen International with the boot, and we are using the older style GT3 cars. So that's the Mercedes AMG, the BMW Z4, the Audi R8, the Ferrari. Race 1 will be an 8-lap sprint race, and the results from race 1 will determine the race 2 starting order. The top 10 in race 2 will be inverted from the finishing order or the starting order of race 1. So we're excited for some great action. We've got some great talent, and like I said, Mike, it's all for a great cause.
Yeah, no, it should be an exciting couple laps we got here. So we got some really notable drivers. We got some young guns trying to make a name for themselves too. So just excited to be here tonight, James. I'm sure like you are. This has been a great day to raise a lot of money. I mean, 346,000 already. That's awesome. That's all going directly to Americares and Boys and Girls Club of America. So really excited to hopefully get that number up a little bit more. We have a couple prizes available tonight. We have some extreme experience giveaways, but all of this money is going directly towards Americares and Boys and Girls Club America. These are people on the front lines. Americares is supporting directly with PPE equipment. The heroes and the medical professionals that are on the front lines, they're supporting them with the equipment they need. And the Boys and Girls Club of America is supporting those families that are mostly affected by this. So I'm really happy to be here and be a part of this, and excited to get into some action here soon.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And let me say, I think it's so cool what they've done using the whether it's the e-racing platform or the video game platform, and helping bring personalities in that are going to help get a lot of exposure for this initiative, and all the while getting a lot of entertainment factor for the spectators. I think it's a really cool initiative, and I mean, I might be biased, but the racing I think is going to be an extremely entertaining part of this evening's lineup.
Yeah, that's can't wait to get to it. But we had some good racing on Friday, and so hopefully more action coming up. We should be getting ready to go here to the pace lap any minute now. So let's get to it.
Yeah, let's see it, Mike. So here we go, gridding for race 1 at Watkins Glen International.
So you've raced here many times, James. You can tell us a little bit about the track and what you think the drivers are going to be looking for when they get out there on the first couple laps.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. Well, we've got a 3.36 mile circuit here with 12 turns at Watkins Glen in New York. The key to the races here today are going to be staying out of trouble, staying clean. The first lap is going to be imperative. There's always lots of carnage at the start of these e-races. We've got a really big depth of talent in today's field, so I think that we may see some of that alleviated, but you never know. These guys are getting ready to roll off here, and I think, like I said, Mike, the keys to the race are going to be staying consistent and staying out of trouble.
I just think one of the coolest parts of this virtual world for racing is that these drivers are really playing in and driving in simulators that are extremely realistic to what they would drive in the real life world. I mean, a lot of the other sports that we've seen today, whether it be NBA 2K or Madden football or some of those, they're great entertainment, and I love watching those. But it's awesome to see this iRacing platform because of how realistic it is for these drivers that are sitting at home right now.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I mean, in regards to what we have available to us in order to train right now in our current situations, this is about as good as it gets. Current weather at Watkins Glen, let's take a look at that, Michael. We've got an air temperature of 78 degrees with a slight wind to the north, 2 miles an hour. So that might come into play as we head down into one here. Partly cloudy. All things considered, I think we got perfect racing conditions here this afternoon. And, you know, look at that field of cars, Mike, that field of GT3 cars as they're pacing into the boot.
Oh yeah, I mean the field we have out here today is really amazing. I mean that's the cool part about this simulated racing and virtual world is that drivers from all spectrums can come together and race on together against each other and on one platform. So we have some highly notable drivers out there. We have IndyCar drivers such as Alexander Rossi, and some of those front level guys. And we have IMSA drivers from the sports car scene. We have Scott Andrews, who's on pole position, and Kenton Cook, who's in P2. So James, I mean, how awesome is that to see drivers from all over the world compete against each other?
Yeah, I was just watching the ticker go down, showing the starting order here. We got Stefan Wilson on the 5th row. Awesome to see him here this weekend, or sorry, this evening on this taking on the COV-AID iRacing Invitational. I got Will Davison starting P12. Yeah, you know, it's great that these guys have all come together. These guys all want to race and they love the competition, but more than anything, these guys love the fact that they're doing it for a good cause and helping bring some good exposure to such a good initiative.
Excellent. So we're just wrapping up the pace lap here. For those of you watching at home, this is generally the time when the guys are warming up the tires and preparing to get ready for the start. They'll come around the last few corners here. The pace car, which is that car up front there, that Porsche, it's going to peel off to the right-hand side, and then we're going to release this field of drivers and get some action underway. So we've got 2 corners here before we take the green flag. Right now, the drivers are just preparing themselves, getting ready, getting all their settings ready for the start, and we'll see some action soon. But as James mentioned,
yeah,
I think just staying out of...
Sorry to interrupt there, Mike. I was just saying that was a pretty slow pace lap, so these guys are going to be coming to the green on some pretty cold tires. So the first half of this lap is going to be interesting as we head to the green flag. The pace car is in, and we are green.
And as they fan out, we got 4 wide coming down the start-finish line. 4 wide there, and let's hope they don't get into too much trouble into turn 1. We got Scott Andrews who's still leading out front. And we've got a couple of cars going wide as we gather them up through the S's. Oh no, that's Brian Sachs in the lead from Stefan Wilson.
Brian Sachs in the lead, followed by Stefan Wilson. Edwards following and rounding out the top 3 so far. Oh, we got a big shunt.
Big crash coming up through the S's.
I think that may have involved some of our potential front runners here. That could have been a pretty big deal for those guys. So we're coming right through the carousel for the first time. The leaders seem to be scot-free at this point. Starting to fan out a bit.
Yeah, I think that might have taken out some of our front runners from Friday's event. I see Scott Andrews down the order and a couple of the others. But up front, it's Brian Sachs in the lead. But we have Tyler Edwards making a huge dive down there inside of Stefan Wilson. And those 2 are battling for second. This should allow Brian to pull away up front.
Yeah, these guys are battling here really early on here, Mikey. That's a bit surprising, but with an 8-lap race, you got to make moves early on. Definitely one of the tracks with some more passing opportunities, but these guys trying to make it stick early on in the race. As we see some IMSA regulars down in the top 10, Tom O'Gorman P8, Kenton Cook P9, Tyler Cook P15. These guys are going to start getting quite aggressive here in the next lap or 2, I think.
Yeah, although this is a short race, 8 laps, you're still going to stay out of trouble. So surprisingly to see some of the big moves being made. But I guess everyone's just trying to prove their worth. And we got a couple of guys in the wall coming out of the last corner. I believe that was Tom O'Gorman.
Yeah, that looks like it was. I think he's okay though, Mike. I think he's okay. Let's just take a look back down the field. We got Patrick Beaumont in P15. Bilicki has dropped well back down the field. He's actually a lap down now. Ken Cook, a victim of that first lap incident, way down the field also. So they head down into the bus stop now. Great passing opportunity.
Yeah, great racing all throughout the field here. I mean, you have NASCAR drivers, Josh Bilicki and the like. You know, they're circling around there, trying to make their way back up after a bad qualifying. We have Will Davison, P9, V8 supercar driver, all the way from Australia. He's doing great in P9, trying to work his way up. Camden Murphy, he's the monster truck driver. You know, he's not used to being this low to the ground. So awesome to see him working his way up, P13 right now. But out front, Brian Sachs just pulling away and kind of taking a commanding lead right now.
Yeah, and I also heard from our control room there, the first raffle is happening as we speak, Michael. So that's exciting stuff for our viewers.
Yeah, let's, I mean, Extreme Experience. I personally know the company very well. I've done a lot with them. It's a fantastic opportunity for you guys to get on track yourselves in a supercar, a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, anything you would really like that they have to offer. And they do events all around the country. So let's get those donations in. That's what we're here for at the end of the day. We're here to raise some money for a good cause. So get your donations in to win that prize right now.
All right, Mikey. So we're on board with Stefan Wilson as we head up through the S's here. He is chasing down Corey Lewis, IMSA regular. Corey's very, very familiar with these GT3 cars. Stefan maybe not so much, coming from the open wheel platform. Mike, how do you think Stefan's going to really approach this as he comes up to the rear of Corey Lewis?
Yeah, James, I'd like to give you a calculated answer, but ultimately I just think he's going to send it up there. I don't think he's going to wait around too much. I think as soon as he gets in the draft and he gets a passing opportunity, I think he's going to try and make it happen and get it done. You can see the leaders up there, not too far down the road, so he definitely senses victory, and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. This front group I think it's going to get quite exciting in the later stages of this race. In a couple laps' time, I really do see these guys being nose to tail, as those third through fifth positions I think are a little bit quicker at this point than the top two. This is going to be a bit of a banger towards the end of this one, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, as we can see on the bottom of our screen there, the prize is still going on, so get your donations in. But on the race here, I think Brian Sachs is actually holding up the field a little bit. Oh, and we have a Mercedes off in the background. Not too sure who that was.
That was Stefan Wilson. Stefan Wilson, I think, or I think that was Stefan Wilson. Like Stefan Wilson.
Hard to tell. With the.
No, that was Stefan Wilson, Mike, and we got Tom O'Gorman up to P5. We got IMSA regular Corvette factory driver Tommy Milner up into P4, chasing down Corey Lewis. This is going to be a good ending to this race, Mike. Five to go at this point.
Yeah, as I was saying just before we saw all of that action, I think Brian Sachs is actually holding up the field a bit here, and he's going to bunch it up. So
and we got to move. We got to move. He's pulled out.
He's coming down the inside. Down the inside goes complete. Tyler Edwards. So Tyler Edwards is taking the lead.
That was your textbook pass into the bus stop, Mike. Textbook pass.
Yeah, and so let's see now that he's in the lead if he's able to pull away or if he's going to hold up the pack. We see Corey Lewis there trying to make a move super close to Brian Sachs. I think he's going to put it down the inside here. And there he goes.
Here we go, up the inside. Oh. No, Brian Sachs has that outside line. Corey Lewis on power early as he gets the run out of the boot. Here we go. So Corey is on the charge as well. Is he going to get later on the anchors? He does.
And with about 5 laps to go here, I think Corey Lewis is making his charge to the front. I think he's looking pretty strong. I definitely put my money on him right now, catching Tyler Edwards. But we're about halfway through this race, and so that means we're about halfway through the the time for the bidding and donations to win that Extreme Experience prize. So make sure you get your donations in right now. We want to help AmeriCares and Boys and Girls Club of America as much as we can. So any contribution would be much appreciated, as we're right on board with Tom O'Gorman, trying to make a move down the inside here of Tommy Milner, Corvette factory driver.
Yeah, it looks like Tom has a little bit of damage up on the front of that Mercedes there, Mike. Tom, you know, a bit of an aggressive driver, both virtually and in the real life. So I think, you know, he really needs to make sure that he doesn't have any more contact, you know, because that could really start damaging his overall pace.
Yeah, you and I both raced against Tom in real life, and we know what he's like on track. So he's definitely trying to make a move here, getting super close to Tommy Milner up front there. But he's looking good right now with his pace. So let's see if he can move up the order a little bit more. And there he goes down the inside.
He's gone down the inside. He's down the inside, but Tommy's going to have the inside line as they come down into the bottom of the boot here. Tom better not get greedy. He's moving over on Tommy. That's not very, you know. It got the pass done, but I'm not a big believer in moving over, going down in a straight line. Let's see what's going on up front. Is Corey got to the back of Tyler Edwards yet?
Yeah, it looks like Corey's closing down, not as fast as I expected. I think Tyler's kind of settled into a rhythm and calmed himself up front right now. So the gap is about between 0.3 and 0.5 a second, but the top three still have a bit of a gap over O'Gorman. Now let's see if O'Gorman can hunt him down. Only 4 laps to go, so not too much time. Oh, and there we see him go off track, lose the back end. Pushing too hard.
Yeah, Milner might have a run out of the last corner here. We might see Tom defend down into one. We got Milner flashing the lights, trying to take Tom's focus away.
And looking for a little bit further back down the field, I see Tyler Cook's made a couple of positions. He's up into 10th place. IMSA driver himself, and Patrick Wilmot down there in 15th, battling with Supercross star Chad Reed. So I think it's really awesome that you have people, motocross drivers, Supercross riders from all over the world competing against each other.
We got. Looked like Tommy was trying to make a move there. Tom defending aggressively into the bus stop. Tom's looking a little bit all over the place in the latest stages of this race, Mike. Tommy might get him back.
Yeah, we're not sure how much that damage is slowing him down, or if he has if he's gotten any more damage. But it looks like they're catching on the back of Brian Sachs. Brian Sachs has now dropped off that lead group quite a bit, and I think he's about to get overtaken by O'Gorman here. As they're working their way out the boot, we see O'Gorman catching up to the back of Sachs. The race up front is still anything to play for, so super tight up front there, 0.3 of a gap between the front two. But right now we're just focusing on the battle for third place here and that final podium position. There we go. Milner's now dropped back a little bit more, so his pace seems to be sliding off. And for you folks at home here, these simulators that they're playing in, and this iRacing simulation is so advanced that the tires actually degrade while they're doing laps out there. So so as the drivers are going through the last 8 laps here, the tires will get worse and worse, meaning they'll lose grip out on track, and so it'll become a little bit harder to handle the cars. But James, it seems I just got a glimpse of Tyler Edwards up front going defensive on Corey Lewis. So I think the race up front is going to start heat up here.
Yeah, as we head into the final 2 laps here, I'm really intrigued to see what those top two are up to. Tyler Edwards and Corey Lewis. There's only 4 tenths between them, so it's anyone's game. At this point, you know, we've got Brian Sachs and Tom O'Gorman battling it out for P3 with Tommy Milner bringing up the rear. Let's look at the battle for the lead. So we got Corey Lewis still stuck behind Edwards, but he is catching, Michael. He is catching as they head through. I think that is the boot. That is the boot. As they come down towards the bottom of the boot, Corey is on him, Mike.
Yeah, he's all over the place right now, just pushing as hard as possible to try and make a move happen. But with 2 laps to go, meaning you guys don't have too much time to get your donations in. So get your donations in for that awesome Extreme Experience prize. Right now, the highest bid is $25. So anything more than that, that prize will be yours. So get your donations in right now before the race is over. But looking up front, I'm not sure if Tyler Edwards is going to be able to hold on, or if Corey Lewis is going to be able to pull through here. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, me too, Michael. We got two to go, and you could not fit a car between them. We got Edwards going defensive down into turn 1.
Yeah, final lap of the race here. Final lap. So we got Lewis 0.3 of a second behind, going really wide there. I'm not sure if he's going to get a penalty for that or not, but looks like he's okay for now. Is he going to get the draft and be able to make a move into the bus stop?
Yeah, this is exciting stuff, Mike. Corey's been strong through the bus stop all race long, so I think if Edwards goes defensive...
Yeah, right now that Ferrari looks a little bit slick in a straight line, being able to pull away from Mercedes. So Corey just still 0.3 of a second back there, but a couple more corners and passing opportunities lying ahead here. So let's see what he can do. But at this point, if you're Tyler Edwards, you just got to stay calm and hit your marks and just focus on yourselves. Looking in the rear.
I think Lewis has a run. Lewis, he's not close enough. He's not close enough.
He's right there, isn't he? He's right there. I mean, if you're Corey Lewis, it's do or die right here. There is a second race today, so they still have one more opportunity. But we all know drivers, and they want to get the win.
Late on the brakes. Late on the brakes as you head into the final sector of Watkins Glen. Corey runs a little bit wide. That's going to cost him, Mike.
Using the whole track, using all the track he can. And we're into the final 2 corners. Tyler Edwards has held off thus far. Let's see if he can just make it through these final couple corners. Looks good right there. And into the final corner. All clear. And there we go. Tyler Edwards bringing it across the line ahead of IMSA regular and Daytona 25 winner Corey Lewis. We got Tom O'Gorman in 3rd place. That was nice recovery by Tom to move up the field.
And Brian Sachs, our pole sitter. Tommy Milner running at the top 5.
And then we have Bradley Sikorsky and Will Davison. Great run by Will Davison there to P7. Slightly different cars to what he's normally used to. Moving down the order, Stefan Wilson had a good race, but I think a lot of these guys got caught up in that first corner incident, James?
Yeah, I believe the race number 2 is 12 laps long, so it's going to be imperative for these guys to just stay out of trouble. And what I was saying to you about that short warm-up lap, and the guys being so bunched up on that warm-up lap, they don't get the opportunity to really get heat into those tires. So I really do think that accident that we had coming up through the S's was a result of the tires not being up to heat soon enough, and the guys having a really, really bunched up warm-up lap. That was a great race, though, all said and done, and some great moves. And so we got Tyler Edwards coming out P1, Corey Lewis P2, O'Gorman P3, Tommy Milner rounding out the top 5 there.
Yeah, and as I said, Stefan Wilson, IndyCar driver, P9, Kyle Lockrow in the BMW, P10. So it was a great race, a lot of action all the way around. I think we'll see a little bit more action here in Heat 2 as we actually have an inverted grid. So that top 10 is going to be inverted. So a lot of the guys finishing high up. We have Chad Reed there, P12, Supercross legend. Landon Castle, NASCAR driver, right behind him. And a couple of IMSA regulars lower down the field than I would expect.
Scott Andrews, Michael. He was a fan favorite heading into Tuesday's main event here, and that just goes to show you need to get through the race. You need to be clean the first couple laps to give yourself a chance at the end of the race there, Mike.
you got to survive those opening couple of corners, and clearly some of those IMSA veterans weren't able to do that. So excited to see the slightly longer race here coming up to see if they can make any moves going up front there. But congrats to the winners of the Extreme Experience Drive. You'll see your name down on the screen there. That's an awesome experience. Thanks to Extreme Experience for donating that. So it's a really cool opportunity for someone to get out on a racetrack if they haven't been out there before. And there'll be another opportunity after this race for you guys to all win, all of you guys that are watching out there at home, for you guys to win your own Extreme Experience Drive. So keep donating when we tell you to get going there. And yeah, just excited to see the ticker keep increasing there for the amount raised for AmeriCares and Boys and Girls Club of America, James.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. This is all for a really good cause, and when we get to watch some racing, such as the race that we just saw, it really is quite a unique and an extremely interactive way to be able to raise money and be entertained whilst doing it. What the initiative that COV-AID International has put on here is quite incredible, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough time for everyone, and so happy to help in any way we can. 343,000. That's a lot of money to be able to go towards a good cause. So we want to see that keep increasing. And there you see it, AmeriCares and Boys and Girls Club of America. As I said before, AmeriCares donating a lot of PPE equipment to the professionals on the front line, and the Boys and Girls Club of America taking care of those families of those medical professionals and doing what they can. So for you guys at home, please head to donate.covaid.org. Anything you can will help in any way possible for the current situation we're in. But as we look forward to some more action coming up, cool race. I mean, a lot of action. I really thought the battle for the lead was going to chop and change a little bit more there, James. I mean, Tyler Edwards hasn't really raced too much in the last couple of years, so impressive to see him get the victory there.
Yeah, especially off of someone like Corey Lewis. Corey has a ton of experience, and he was putting on the pressure towards the end there. Also, a notable drive by Tom O'Gorman, damaged car, and I mean, personally, I've done a lot of sim racing, and I know what it's like when the car is damaged. It's not optimal, so for him to get up into the top three, that was a good job done by him. Tommy Milner hanging off for P5, and Brian Sachs. Tough start to the race. He was kind of holding up the field a little bit, it seemed like, but he was smart about it. He survived the race. He let the guys get by, and he didn't defend too hard, and he got to the end of the race and came out with a solid top 5. So that was a good drive by him. I'm definitely excited to see what these guys can do with, race 1 being out the way now, and heading into race 2, which is obviously a bit longer. And these guys, I think, are going to be chomping at the bit, as they say, to not have that accident happen in the S's, so they can all battle for the win at the end.
Definitely. I mean, it's all to play for here in race 2. So James, I mean, let's just talk a little bit about this iRacing platform and simulator racing in general. I mean, a lot of the viewers here at home, they might not understand quite a lot about this simulator racing. Is it really realistic? I mean, is it, you do quite a lot more than me on it. So is it really realistic? Can you get a good feel for being in a race car, even though you're sitting in your living room?
Well, Mike, a lot of these guys, their setups vary. So obviously, if you have a setup that is extravagant, you're going to have more realism than, some of the more simple setups. But in terms of keeping fresh and keeping your eyes trained to be looking down the track and keeping reference points and keeping that muscle memory in your hands and your feet, just with the pedals and the steering wheel and stuff like that. I mean, I do think it is, but I just came off of a private 2-day test and driving a real race car, and back-to-back with driving a simulator today, and the feel is what's missing, and I can't quite explain how important that is when it comes to driving a race car. As you know, Mike, like we do a lot of what we do in a race car by feel, and the last little bit of what you're looking for is always kind of understanding what the dynamics of the car is doing underneath you. So when it comes time to setting up the car, I think that you do need a very kind of video game mindset when you're setting up the car rather than the feel mindset. Does that make sense? It's definitely unique, but I do think it helps for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with all of us sitting at home, at least it's something. You know, no matter how accurate or how accurate it may be. I mean, nothing's really going to replace the smell of the racing fuel and being at the racetrack, I'm sure. But you know, during this time, as we all try to stay safe and practice all the guidelines that are imposed, at least it's something for a lot of these drivers sitting at home. I think it's keeping them sane, and at least it's providing a little bit of action for us here this evening.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And you know, with a race like that and the race that we've got coming up, you can't go wrong. And you know, all the other entertainment that's going on with the COV-AID International Invitationals. There really is some great entertainment with some awesome personalities from around the world. I know they got Rob Gronkowski coming up after us, ex New England Patriots football player, and they had Waka Flocka on earlier playing 2K. So you know, it's really cool to be a part of this, and it's cool that they've included the motorsports platform in this to help raise some money for like you said, the frontline workers, families of Boys and Girls Club of America and Americares.
Definitely, James. So I think we're about ready to go racing here. I mean, I'm pretty excited, and looks like we're on the pace lap. We're back at Watkins Glen, virtual Watkins Glen. We're back in action.
It looks quite foggy there, Mike. Has the weather changed?
I'm not sure, James. I mean, I think we're just above the clouds in the virtual chopper, so it looks pretty good once you get down. And
all right, so let's go through the starting order here, Mike.
Yeah, it looks like Scott Andrews is on pole position there with Kenton Cook in P2. I'm just reading what we got on the screen, so I hope that's accurate. In third place is O'Gorman from Corey Lewis, so that's a strong line right there. Moving on a little bit from there, on row 3, we're just trying to take a look and see who's sitting on row 3. We got Tommy Milner, driver.
And Mackay Stevens, he was a strong one from the previous race, if you recall, Michael, on the qualifying races. Mackay did a great job, and on the fourth, we got Jock Bilicki, Xfinity NASCAR driver, Tyler Edwards, race 1 winner. Let's see what Tyler can do from starting all the way back there. Stefan Wilson, the late Justin Wilson's brother. Awesome to see him a part of this, with Brian Sachs rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and then from there it's Bradley Sikorsky.
It's P11.
And Will Davison, the V8 Supercars, Australian V8 Supercars legend, he's up there. He's gonna look pretty good in this race, I think, moving his way up the ranks. Camden Murphy, monster truck driver, right there, row 7. So I think he's also gonna look to move up a little bit more. So the whole field is stacked, James. That's the thing about this race, is that we got guys from the front to the back who could win it. There's no clear favorites right now.
No, absolutely, Mike. And once again, I mean, from my iRacing experience, these guys are extremely bunched up on this pace lap. They're not giving themselves much room to really warm up those tires. So I think we're going to see some carnage at the beginning of this race here, Mike. These guys are all antsy to get back at it. They want to make up for maybe, you know, some lost opportunity in race 1, or maybe carry on the momentum from race 1. So I think this first lap is going to be extremely important, staying out of trouble. And as we saw, staying out of trouble can guarantee you getting into the top 10 and getting a good result. So we got Kyle Lockrow in P1. He's leading the field to green as they come out of the last corner here.
Yeah, so as like before, the pace cars are going to pull off here, and the guys are going to see the green flag, and we're green. We are racing at Watkins Glen in the GT3s. We'll have to see if the guys can keep it clean, but already they're weaving.
Oh, we got
all
some
over
dipping and diving. So we got
As
Chad
we,
Frankenfield up into P1.
Looks like the order changed a little bit there. So a couple of the guys swapping and changing into turn 1.
Oh, we got Stefan
I
Wilson up into P1, I see there.
You know, honestly, James, I'm just not sure what information to rely on right now.
I'm not sure either, Michael. Let's just get through this first lap and see if they all get through it cleanly. So far, so good here, Mike. Oh, we got a shot into the bus stop. That's a big one.
As you say that, that's commentator's curse right there with the big crash into the bus stop. So
yeah,
we'll have to see who's been taken out there. Right now, as our order says, it's Chad Frankenfield up front with Stefan Wilson P2, Will Davison in P3 there.
As they're heading down in the bottom of the boot here, we got, is that Kenton Cook defending P8, I do believe. Kenton Cook defending P8 from Roski, Adam Roski. That is correct. So let's see if Kenton can climb his way back up to the front of this field. He was one of the guys to beat in that early qualifying race there, Mike, on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, that qualifying race, we definitely had some front runners there that today we're seeing them way down the field. So obviously a couple of guys, improving and moving up the ranks and spending a lot of time between Friday and now, getting some simulated time in. And as we look to front, that is Stefan Wilson as we come around on the first lap. That's Stefan Wilson in the lead. So really cool to see him doing well with Will Davison up in there in third. So that's going to be a good little battle.
I think that's a correction there, Michael. We got Chad Frankenfield leading the pack just ahead of Stefan Wilson by just under half a second. Will Davison P3, Corey Lewis P4, and Tom O'Gorman P5. So those regular front runners from the first race are all back up there, and they're dipping and diving and making it exciting for sure.
Oh, there's action all over the place. Action all over the place. I'm just trying to keep up with it here, and it's not easy from Atlanta on the virtual world, but does look like Chad up front there. Chad's up front, and with Stefan in P2.
And Mike,
but there's battles.
Fan favorite Scott Andrews up into the top 10, starting way back in the field. Scott Andrews up into P10. Tyler Edwards, race 1 winner, down in P11, Mike, followed by Mackay Stevens and Patrick Wilmot. So let's see if we can see some action from further back in the field, because I think that there's some probably good racing going on back there, as we really do have such a deep field of talent. So
as we ride on board with O'Gorman here, O'Gorman's trying to make the move on Corey Lewis for P4, but the front four, I mean, nothing is separating them. Nothing is separating them right there, and Tommy Milner just right on the back. So I really think these guys understand this is a bit of a longer race. It's 12 laps compared to the 8, so they're going to bide their time and save their tires a little bit more while they stay in the draft of the guys ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And a guy like Tommy Milner, he's got so much experience, and he at the end of the day knows that these guys are gonna start kind of making moves on each other in the next lap or so. So I think experience might pay off over speed here. If what I think is going to happen takes place, I think Tommy Milner could come out on top of this one.
Yeah, we definitely could see some incidents up front, but right now, looking at the lap times, Scott Andrews, last week's race winner, is definitely one of the fastest guys out there.
Tom O'Gorman pushing Tom O'Gorman once again, making contact with another driver. Tom O'Gorman just driving into the side of Corey Lewis as we go into the bus stop. I mean, you got to get by him somehow, but
Yeah, that's racing. They say rubbing is racing, James. So that's how he made the move, and let's see what he can do now as he's in 4th position there, trying to hunt down V8 Supercars Will Davison.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Tom has any damage to that car. Might slow him down. Corey Lewis has dropped back to P7. As we have Stefan Wilson closing in on the leader now. The gap to under 3/10. Gap of 4/10, just under half a second.
It's definitely close up front, but they're all stacked up, so no one's really going anywhere. No one's really making a break for it just yet. It's a bit like cycling, where they're all just trying to get each other's draft, and no one wants to make the breakaway and wear out their tires too quickly here, as we're only on lap 3 of 12, so plenty of time for guys like.
And let's just give everyone a quick reminder, Mike, to donate. That's what this is all really about. We got 2 prizes to give away during this race. If you want to give people a quick rundown of the donations and how they can donate, and what they can win.
Yeah, we're really excited to have Extreme Experience contributing a couple more drives here. So we have 2 more Extreme Experience drives to give away, and as person being involved in that company and that program for many years now, really excited for the viewers out there that to be able to win this. I mean, this is an experience for you to drive a supercar on a racetrack anywhere around the country that they have events. They have events in Atlanta, Charlotte, all over the country. So when we are able to get back out there, you can head out to one of their events and be able to drive Ferrari or Lamborghini or any supercar that they have available to you. So really awesome experiences there. So I really urge you guys to donate anything you can, and we obviously are awarding the top donor right now, which is $50. So if you are able to donate,
we got more contact there, Mike. Sorry to interrupt there, man. Gorman's in the wall. I'm sorry, but you're gonna get what you're given, and he's been hitting people all race long, and ultimately it's gonna happen. So Tom O'Gorman looks to be out of it. Following
Will
way
Davison.
Down
Will Davison was.
Will Davison.
Will
He's
Davison.
not gonna take anything from these IMSA regulars. Will Davison, V8 Supercar champion, my boy. He's gonna fight back if he's gonna get some argy-bargy. He's gonna argy-bargy right back, and that puts Tom O'Gorman in the wall. Maybe he'll just try and limp this thing to the end here with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, O'Gorman back to 8th place, but this really cleans up the front end there. Stefan Wilson up front from Frankenfield, Kenton Cook, and Corey Lewis right up front there. And as we said before, Kenton Cook, he was the top favorite last week during our qualifying races, and right now he's sitting in the pounds position. He's right there behind the front guys with some more pace than they've had all race.
And you know who just continues to impress me during this race, Mike, is the most experienced of them all, Tommy Milner. As you see them enter the boot there, he's not challenging that position. He's not challenging.
That's my buddy Scott Andrews making a move on Tommy Milner. So Scott Andrews, last week's race winner, coming through the pack, and could he be a favorite come the end of this race? As it looks like Stefan Wilson is pulling a bit of a gap out front there. Kenton has now moved into P2, so I really think Kenton's going to pull this train up with him to hunt down Wilson. He's got
I don't think
time,
so, Mike.
7 laps.
Kenton is, I think his pace he's in a class of his own right now. His best time is a 46.6 versus the leader's 46.9. The gap last time across the stripe, 1.2 seconds. So let's see what he does here, Mike. Let's stay on board with Kenton Cook here while he's trying to hunt down Stefan Wilson. To head up into the S's, nice and smooth, trying to keep that run going as much as possible. The gap already down to under a second. He's picked up 3/10 from the time they crossed the stripe, Mike. I think this is going to be a no-brainer here. I think if Kenton can get by Stefan cleanly here, Mike, he's going to check out the field.
Yeah, this very well could be the race, and the race making move right in front of us here. He's closing down on extremely quick.
And that's Mary Beth O'Gorman, who is the prize winner for the Control Freak bundle. So thank you, Mary Beth O'Gorman, for donation. Your generous donation. You're the top donor I see there.
Yes, thanks everyone for their donations this evening. I mean, any little bit helps and contributes to to what we're trying to do here for Americares and Boys and Girls Club of America. So even though the prize is done right now, let's keep those donations coming in as we see a move.
Oh, and Corey Lewis
happening.
going down the inside. What? What? I think Corey Lewis.
I think we have a little bit of a glitch there.
I think that is one thing, Michael. You know, we do have issues with sim racing. It's called netcode issues. It's where the computers communicating with one another, they might take each other out because they think they're closer than they actually are, or, you know, further away than they actually are. So this is going to be interesting here. Corey's having some connection issues. Scott Andrews up in a P5. Scott Andrews
is coming through, but the front two are right on each other's tails there. We have Kenton Cook who hunt down Stefan Wilson, so he's right behind him, and now he's just looking for a way by him. We have a little bit of lag across the field, but here we go.
Into the bus stop, we've got Stefan Wilson defending. Kenton pulling out. I think Kenton's gonna get late on the brakes. No, he lets Stefan go inside. Stefan losing some rear grip on the entry of the bus stop as they come into the carousel. Nothing Kenton can do there. He's gonna have some opportunities coming up in the later part of this lap to make a move if you can get a run here, Mike.
But you know what this means, James? As these two fight, Corey Lewis and Scott Andrews, they're catching up. This is a perfect opportunity for them to catch some ground up as these two fight. But Stefan Wilson doing a great job in being defensive while following the rules.
Kenton has a run, Michael.
He definitely does. If I was him, you know, just get down
going
inside as quick as possible. There he goes.
Hard on the brakes, late on the brakes, early release on power, nice and early. Nothing Stefan could do there, Mike. Absolutely nothing he could do. We've got a lapped car coming up, so hopefully that doesn't come into play too much here.
No, hopefully that lap car gets out the way and lets us have the battle that we're looking for. But he's currently online. I think this could block Kenton a little bit. And so that is not ideal.
There's contact. Oh no, he's backing into the front. Oh no!
I don't know who that was, but that was extremely unsportsmanlike.
What was that about? That's I mean, wow.
Not sure if Kenton has any damage there, but he definitely made contact with that lap car. I don't know who that lap car is. We'll find out that. But Scott Andrews sneaking up.
We see Corey Lewis drop down to P11, Mike. That was a detrimental move by that lapped car. Get him out of here.
I think Corey ended up hitting that lap car, so that's what took him out of contention. So not too sure who that lap car was, but that was not cool. And up front, it's still extremely close between Cook and Wilson. With Andrews closing down, Andrews might be the only one with a good car up front there. So I'm not sure if Andrews has anything to say for the race lead, but right now we're on board with Mackay Stevens further down the field.
Well, Mike, we got a 1.6 second gap from Andrews to the leader, Kent Cook. I mean, at this point, anything's possible. Russ and Diane Casso, top donor. We see there. Thank you very much for your donation. Like we've been saying all broadcast long. That's what this is all about. You know, anything you guys can spare is really going to help these frontline workers' families. For both America's Boys and Girls Club, thank you for organizing this with COV-AID, and you know, ultimately this is what this is all about: is raising money for the frontline workers' families while having some entertainment. For us to watch while we're and that's Stefan Wilson into the wall. That's putting Scott Andrews up to P2, Mike. Kenton Cook has some damage to his car, it looks like, with a 1.4 second gap between the front two. Mike, this is going to get exciting.
This is racing. I mean, as we were discussing before the race here, is this real racing? Is this mentally challenging? And right there you can see it is. I mean, these drivers are pushing right to the limits every lap, and the smallest mistake will cost you the race. And all Stefan Wilson had to do was drop a wheel on the outside of the track, and then he was off. So Kenton Cook out front, he's got a bit of a gap, and I do believe he's going to hold on to that. It doesn't look like Andrews is closing him down very much.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Mike. The gap's back up to 1.8 seconds. It's been down as low as 1.4. Kent seems to be stretching his legs a little bit now. I just wanted to bring something to your attention here, Michael. We had 39 drivers start this race, and currently on the lead lap, we only have 18 drivers. So for those of you at home, what that means is there's only 18 drivers on the same lap as the leader, and we had 39 drivers on the same lap as the leader at the start of the race. So it just goes to show how important it really is to stay on that lead lap and stay out of trouble throughout the earlier stages of this race to give yourself the chance towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, just staying out of trouble is what we're seeing. I mean, Scott Andrews has done a great job working his way through the field. O'Gorman, we know O'Gorman caused some of the trouble, but he also, he's managed to keep it alive and stay in third place there, even after some of those issues. So great
Yeah.
job there. Mackay Stevens, P4. Tyler Edwards, that was our previous race when he's in P5 right now. So as we continue to see the donations roll in, we really appreciate everyone tuning in here with us, as well as donating anything you can as we go on board with Will Davison, who unfortunately after that early incident just took him out the running.
So random winner, what I can see on that bottom ticker there, Mike, Tater Swift for their Control Freak bottle. And top donor winner so far, Russin Diane Casso. So thank you very much for your donations, everyone. So far,
congratulations.
We've raised just over $346,000. That's going to go such a long way to helping these families. And Mike, I think I could speak for the both of us here, but extremely proud to be a part of this initiative, playing our small part. Hoping we can put a bit of a smile on everyone's faces while we're here doing this today. As we head into three laps to go here, Mike.
Yeah, congratulations to both those winners. I hope you guys enjoy your prizes. And for the rest of you that are currently watching, there'll be plenty more opportunity to get some prize yourself as we continue with the action here on the COV-AID stream throughout the evening. But back to the racing right now. 3 laps to go. We have Kenton out front being chased down by Andrews. 1.4 seconds is the gap. I mean, all it will take is a small mistake for Andrews to be right on the back bumper of Kenton Cook. So we can only wait and see what's going to happen.
Yeah, if you look at their last lap times too there, Mike, it only separated by 5/1000ths of a second. That's 5/1000, so 0.005. I mean, these guys are absolutely on it. Gap's at 1.6 seconds. It seems to be hovering around that 1.4 to 1.8 range right now. Honestly, Kenton's no stranger to leading races and knowing what it takes to get the job done. I think we may have a bit of a battle on our hands. Mackay Stevens, 46-1 last time around versus Tom O'Gorman's 46-2. So we know that O'Gorman has a bit of damage on that car, Mike. Let's see if Mackay can make this exciting with the last couple of laps here.
Definitely, and just for those viewers at home, I mean, the top 3 in the race right now are all current IMSA sports car winners. So absolutely no slouches in the field today. We have the pros from all over the world. And we have Mackay Stevens here hunting down O'Gorman. As you said, I think he's got some damage, James. I mean, he made some pretty big contact with Will Davison a little bit earlier. So I think Mackay's he smells the blood in the water, and he's going to try and make a move here.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I mean, we're down under a second at this point. We're 9/10 of a second. So 0.9 of a second for those of you at home is the gap from third to fourth. That looks like it's going to be the most exciting battle on track as we close out this race here, Mike.
Yeah, I think Kenton out front has probably got it taken care of. I mean, he's got a decent lead unless he makes a mistake. The top 2 will stay as is, but O'Gorman, I think he's going to have to fend for his life at the end here. And we saw him being pretty aggressive early in the race, but how aggressive is he going to be to hold on to this podium position as we go into the final lap here? So we're into the final lap of the race, and it's Kenton Cook out front leading by 1.5 seconds from Scott Andrews, and then O'Gorman 7 seconds back. So what do you? Let's turn to the battle. Let's turn to the battle with Mackay Stevens and O'Gorman, and let's have a look and see how how that fares here on the final couple corners.
Well, I think if O'Gorman's losing any pace, I think it's going to be straightaway pace here, Mike. Because as we see in his onboard, not this is Mackay Stevens onboard. Earlier on, we saw in Tom's onboard, you can see the front of the car. It's aerodynamically affected. So, but as we head into this final lap, it seems that that O'Gorman was able to stretch out a couple tenths there, bringing the gap to 1.2 seconds. So he's making that car work. And you know, he's had an adventurous race to say the least, but he's rounding out the top three as we head into the last half of the lap. The gap for the lead, though, down to 1.3 seconds. 1.3 seconds. Looks like Scott Andrews has closed up a little bit. So it's just, even if a small mistake from Kenton could change the lead of this race.
Definitely. Any sort of small mistake, and Andrews will be right there to pounce on that lead position. As we see lap traffic coming up ahead, so hopefully that lap traffic doesn't get in the way of Kenton at all. But Andrews in P2 hanging on there, pushing as hard as he can. I mean, you got to
The
think if
gap's
you're
down to
Kenton at this point.
1.2.
Yeah, 1.2 seconds as Cook approaches the last corner. He enters it and exits smoothly. No mistakes from Kenton Cook on the last lap here as he weaves
And
into
doing the
victory
Kenton
lane.
Cook trademark swerve. The Kenton Cook trademark swerve as he comes across the stripe to win, followed by Scott Andrews and Tom O'Gorman rounding out your top three. Race one winner Tyler Edwards bringing up the P4 position, followed by Mackay Stevens rounding out the top five. Let's go a little bit further down through the field there, Mike, and see how the rest of this field stacked up.
That's Trevor Andrusko. Trevor Andrusko with a P6. I mean, he's going to be ecstatic with that result. I mean, he hasn't really featured too much early on in this race, so he's going to be ecstatic with that result. And Carl Lockrow in P7. Will Davison recovered to P8. I mean, he's going to be disappointed after running up front for so long and getting involved in that incident with O'Gorman. Camden Murphy P9 and NASCAR driver Josh Bilicki P10. Just some great racing all around, James. I just can't believe the action that we're able to see on this iRacing platform.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. And you know the models for how these cars work, and you know the damage models and the consumable models. So the car's getting lighter as the run goes on because fuel burn is happening and the tires wearing away as the run goes on. It's very realistic. So it's really cool to see how the race progressed and how the drivers progressed too, Mike. You know, I saw some desperate moves in that race and you know, some questionable moves too. But all in all, a very good and a very exciting race.
Yeah, great racing all round. I mean, we see Tommy Milner coming home there in P16, Corvette factory driver. He's won Le Mans, he's won the biggest races in the world, and unfortunately just being collected and ending up low down the field there. But there you have it, folks. That's your top 10 or your top 9, I should say, on the screen right there. Kenton takes the win from Scott Andrews. My buddy Scott Andrews, he couldn't get the victory today, but after performing so well last week. O'Gorman, great job by him in P3. Edwards, Stevens, Andrusko, Lockrow, and Will Davison, P8 there, James.
Yeah, I mean that top 10, you just look down first through 10th, absolutely stacked, Mike. And you know it doesn't stop there. What an incredible depth of talent in that field. But one thing I will say to you, Mike, I think Mercedes was the car to have in that race, don't you?
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. I know you drive for Audi in real life, but it definitely looks like Mercedes was the great car to have at Watkins. And so really just awesome race overall. I was super excited the whole time trying to keep up with the action. It's for your folks at home, it's not as easy to switch between screens and try follow who's where. So I might stick to the driving thing and not the commentating.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more, Mike. A ton of fun, and it was really cool to call that race and some great action throughout it with some really good talent. So happy we got to witness that, Mike.
Yeah, glad we could raise some money. I see the ticker just increasing every couple minutes for donations there. So thank all of you that that were able to put some money in there. There's plenty of prizes coming up, plenty more action coming up a little bit later. But congrats to our two winners there and some of our podium finishes. It was tough racing all around. I mean, just to stay out of trouble, trouble seems to just jump up every now and then. So really, congrats to all those guys that have done well.
And just in closing on my part, Mike, just please make sure you guys donate. That's what this is all about. The Boys and Girls Club of America and AmeriCares raising money for the frontline workers' families. At the end of the day, we're putting on all this great entertainment, and it's in parallel with raising money for such a great cause. Really, truly a pleasure to be a part of this, and yeah, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, awesome indeed. So we'll be locking off here in a couple minutes, but I just want to thank all the drivers who gave us some of their time. I know a lot of them are tired of sitting at home, so this is just a great escape. So really appreciate the drivers being able to join us today, and thanks COV-AID for everything they've done for us. And I'll now hand it over to them.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to COV-AID. Big shout out to Michael and James for bringing all of that iRacing action to us. Many of those folks were qualifying leading up to that. You saw the lap race, and then the final race. Kenton Cook is your iRacing winner for the COV-AID Invitational, iRacing Invitational. But welcome back to COV-AID, benefiting AmeriCares and Boys and Girls Club of America. I'm DJ Wheat, joined by Rachel Quirco. And Rachel, what'd you think? Do you aspire to hit the tracks now? Yeah.
Well, as you know, I always do the racing interviews because I really enjoy racing games. There's a beautiful simplicity to them. I'm terrible at them, by the way. But there's a lot of crashing in this game, and I related very much to that. Apparently, it had something to do with going online. The network is a little different. But I really wonder what these professional racers who strive so hard to not hit each other are thinking when this happens in these video games.
Absolutely. And I think I saw the DoorDash car trying to get in on that race, but it might be a good time to mention our partners and the sponsors who are here representing this great cause: DoorDash, T-Mobile, GoPuff, HyperX, Control Freak, the University of New Haven, Zoom, Millionaires DJ Academy, great tutorial they shared with us earlier, the King of Sneakers, Enthusiast Gaming, Landfest, RTS, Moji Chat, Lunchbox, United in Gaming, Skillshot Media, Film Quality Services, Soft Giving, U-Spec Marketing Consultants, and Sub Nation. Just an amazing list there, Rachel.
Yeah, it's really cool to see all these brands, all these companies, all these collectives come together and raise money for what is a great cause. Mm-hmm. The money today is going to the Boys and Girls Club of America, and they have a focus on childcare for frontline workers right now who are spending extra time serving their communities in the hospitals on the front line, trying to fight everything that's going on, of course. And we have AmeriCares as well. So they are both doing so much to support families and workers in this time of need. And we appreciate all you guys watching, putting energy into this stream, sometimes putting incredible donations in. And of course, just being here at DoorDash is going to be giving some meals away as well.
Yeah, their donate link is right there, donate.cov-aid.org. Donate anytime throughout our event here. We still have some great gaming. We have some fantastic musical performances still coming up. And we're going to take a break, but when we come back, it's going to be the halftime show. We're kind of officially halfway through it. As I mentioned, we've got some great gaming, some great personalities coming up here in just a moment. But thank you so much for joining us here for COV-AID. It's great to have you, and we have so much more coming up next. Is the halftime show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.